squad for the test against Fiji, but very fortunate to be joined by one of the names in that 36-man list now, Allan Alaalatoa. Allan, wonderful to talk to you out at Stanmore Public School there this morning, just mixing with a few kids. Congrats on selection. How exciting is all of this, mate, knowing Fiji's a couple of weeks away and the Lions are just after that?
Yeah, thanks, Echo. Mate, it's really exciting. You know, it's always special, you know, seeing your name being read out for selection. As I know that for myself and for a lot of the boys, like, you go back to your super teams and want to put in a good performance to make sure that you can contribute there. But then at the back of your mind, it's to give yourself the opportunity to be where we are at the moment. So there's an exciting feel at the moment. It's good to see a few of the boys like Willie as well. You know, he's come over from Europe. So yeah, no, there's a good feeling here, and just keen to get into camp on Sunday.
Allan, want to talk about the excitement and euphoria. You get that kit bag. It's like Christmas in June. You're stoked. You've got this Wallaby emblem on your chest now. Then you quickly turn to what's ahead. What's the theme of the group, do you think? What's the mood like? What's the language? What's some of the attitude that's creeping around the atmosphere already?
I think already, like, being a part of Australian rugby, like, there's just an exciting feel about this year. Obviously, knowing that the British and Irish Lions series is coming up, but most importantly for us, the players who are picked, is to not look too far ahead. Like, you can't look further than Fiji. I think from my perspective as a player and as a leader, you can't look further ahead than next week. Like, every day in this preparation is so important into wanting to put in a good performance against Fiji and then to carry that through into the Lions series. So every day is going to be so important for us in terms of our preparation, and to make sure that you know, we're not going back to go forward. Like, we just want to continue on what we built off the back end of last year.
Talking about the back end of last year, Allan, what about Joe Schmidt as coach? Has he communicated to you and other senior players through Super Rugby, and then of course the last sort of 10 days or so, about the style of play, or a bit more about the Wallaby brand?
Not too much about the style of play. It was more like he just kept us in the loop in terms of the Super Rugby leaders around things based around schedule, but then the connection piece, which we're trying to get the boys connected when they're playing against the Australian sides, to try and connect post field. But also, he did touch on a few fundamental things in our game which we can improve. But I think from the coaching, perspective, he didn't want to step on the Super Rugby coach's feet and try and get too involved in the Super Rugby. He just wanted to keep his distance. But I know, speaking to a few of the players, they did have some individual convos as well, and a lot of the forwards had conversations with Chrono and Lordy and Jeff as well. So so there was a lot of feedback throughout the year to try and help the to try and help the individual's game, which hopefully the boys can bring into next week.
Allan, you personally, outstanding form, Super Rugby Pacific 2025. Took your try-scoring tally. I think you doubled your previous entire career try-scoring tally this year, getting across the line 8 or 9 times. Can we expect you to cross the stripe a few times for the Wallabies in the next couple of weeks as well?
Oh, I hope so, mate. You'd definitely be pushing for it. But a lot of those tries, mate, came off the back of good work up front for the forwards.
You're too modest, Al.
I know that. Well, I do know that the forwards is going to play a vital role, against Fiji and the British and Irish Lions. So I'm hoping that the boys would, put me in a good area to just cross over for that half a metre try.
Well, you talked about, Allan, the focus of Fiji, absolutely, but this is a campaign that's going to lead into British and Irish Lions. Your different provinces are coming together now. In the past, probably that squad's felt a bit new. You mentioned last year the learnings, keep the momentum going forward. You get the feeling that this group is learnt from trauma together and success together, and you're in a far more competitive space than you have been previously?
Yeah, for sure, Goog. I think from looking at the squad that's named, a large amount of those players were involved throughout the whole year last year, so I think in terms of trying to continue what we built last year, it should be a smooth transition. And then I think if anything, we just need to get everyone on the same page in terms of learning different coaching philosophies from different coaches. So I think that's going to be a main part of what next week looks like, is to get everyone on the same page, but also just to take the team forward, to understand what worked, and then to build on the fundamentals that helped us throughout the whole season last year.
Allan, I know you're not a selector, but for this first test match prior to the 3 tests against the British and Irish Lions, viewers will probably want to know, we want to know, do you think Joe will pick his test team to play in that first test, or is there some players you think might have to be put in cotton wool, like Joseph Suoli'i and those type of players that may not, you can't risk any injuries?
Oh, mate, as you said, I'm not a selector, but I think for me, everyone has to play. I think the Fiji game is so important. You want to go out there and put in a good performance in terms of our perspective, but you also get that opportunity to then build those chemistries. You get one test before the British and Irish Lions, so if you don't get the opportunity to play Fiji, you get the opportunity to go back and play for your Super Rugby provinces to then get a taste of what the British and Irish Lions will feel like. But I do believe, you look at a lot of our Super Rugby teams, they haven't played in a couple of weeks, so I think that game feel and that experience and that game fitness is going to be vital moving forward. So yeah, I think it's important that everyone plays.
Well, we're very much excited about seeing the Wallabies take on Fiji in just over a fortnight's time. And congratulations again on selection in the squad for that test, Allan. Haircut's looking sharp, mate. Hopefully we're talking to you a lot over the next 6 weeks.
Go and join that photo, mate. Quick, there's a big photo of the kids behind you. Go and join it.
Sweet as. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, great to talk to Allan Alaalatoa, one of the
How
best.
good to be on the press, you're named in the squad, you first interview.
Every time you get named in a Wallaby squad is exciting. And people text and ring you, and even though if you've been there for 30 or 40 test matches, it's special.
What stood out to you from chatting to Allan there? Was it around what you touched on, Goog? Just seemed that there's an element of comfort in this squad and familiarity with them and knowing sort of who each other are and what they can do together.
Well, I wouldn't say comfort, I'd find another word, competitiveness. The bar has been raised. Super Rugby Pacific has spat out some tremendous performances. Embryonic test players that were taken on the end of year 2 have taken that form into Super Rugby Pacific and validated Joe Smith's faith in them to put a gold jersey on their back for the end of year tour. Then they've taken it into a super competitive Super Rugby Pacific. We've seen a group of athletes problem solving, and now they're in camp together. They're wearing green and gold, and they're going to take on Fiji, and then they're going to take on British Irish Lions.
Well, they've got experience, haven't they? There's only 2 players in the squad, Corey Toole and Nick Champion de Crepney, who haven't played a test match. So they've blooded over the last 3 or 4 years. They've blooded all these players through, and there's experience in this squad now.